Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the fourth Ramboll Technical Forum. I thought I'd start off briefly about the theme of today, which is sharing excellence. And I think that's quite apt today as we sit here amongst us. There are Ramboll people, there are some Gifford people, and there are hopefully some of our clients and collaborators in the audience today. So it really is about sharing excellence. And it reminded me of a discussion I was having with Gordon Clark from Gifford last week, where we discussed the history of the companies Ramboll, Gifford and Whitby Bird. And Gifford have just produced a 60th anniversary book, which has quite a lot of wonderful stories about, I suppose, inventiveness. Some of the work that happened in the early days right through to the current day inventiveness that's going on in the business. Some of the early work on post-tensioning, some of the engineered wood turbine blades, and even to hovercrafts. Absolutely amazing. And it sort of made me think, why doesn't everybody want to be an engineer or an architect or a builder? And in fact, if everyone was an engineer, an architect or a builder and stopped playing with money, perhaps we wouldn't have a Greece and potentially an Italy on our hands. And perhaps even in my utopia of designing and making things, we'd be able to close the gap between the rich and the poor. And this morning, on that subject of making things, I read an article by James Dyson in the Guardian, and I think all of you know who James Dyson is. He's one of the UK's top inventors, I suppose, and to a certain extent a manufacturer as well. And he was absolutely distraught in this article about the fact that only 6% of students studying in the UK in universities, only 6% are studying engineering. And he compared that to about 13% in Germany and 40% in Singapore. So 40% of all students apparently studying in Singapore are studying engineering. And his article was basically saying we should move away from this financial service industry that we have, quite topical, to making things. And I think he's been saying that for quite a while now. And probably the most interesting thing about the article in The Guardian, if you read it online, is all the comments about Mr. Dyson having sent a lot of his manufacturing overseas. But anyway, on that making things topic, it's something that's quite close to my heart, and I'd urge you all to read this book, which I'm currently reading at the moment. I haven't quite finished it, but it's called The Case for Working with Your Hands, or Why Office Work is Bad for Us and Fixing Things Feels Good. And I wanted to read it because I thought, hang on a minute, I work in an office. Okay, at the weekend I fix things and I do make things now and then. But actually, I wanted to read this book and find out what it's all about, because what's occurring to me is, whilst I enjoy fixing things and making things, actually one of the most enjoyable times that I think I personally can have is working on projects, making things in terms of starting with a blank piece of paper, sketching up an engineering scheme with an architect or a client. And I truly think that this is not quite right, this book. It's missed something slightly, and actually that we can, designing and making things on paper is possible.